Hey, how are you? Yeah, the world is kind of a weird place and interesting. It's I was watching this video about how you should probably talk to people when you're in your videos, and like you're having coffee with them. And I was thinking about like, do people actually go out and just go talk and have coffee in Taiwan? I know that they kind of do that in Korea, and it's like there's like this video where somebody was talking about the difference between Japan and Korea when people are talking in a video, or sorry, in a coffee shop. And in Korea, it's like super super noisy. In Japan, it's like super super quiet. If you're noisy, then people will like tell you to like be quiet. It's kind of like in the subway. I think it's probably the same thing over in Japan. So anyway, like I don't remember the last time that I just went for coffee with somebody and they weren't looking at their phone. Like we were actually just going and talking. I mean, years and years and years ago when I was in Canada, we used to be doing that. We used to be able to do that. When you actually go for coffee with somebody, like you actually go out and just talk to them about, I guess, your feelings and your emotions. And I don't know, it's weird, like the way that it was like 20 years ago and the way that it is now. There's such a, and I mean, it makes me sound like an old dude, but there's just so many differences in terms of communication. If you when you talk to people that kind of get what you mean. I think that's why some people will ask, how old are you? In Korea, there's kind of a function of that because how old you are depends on or makes you use certain types of words to say like, okay, well, like I guess there's a certain word for I'm a younger man and he's an older man. I'm a younger man and she's an older woman or something like that. And then there's like also other words that you use if somebody's like an old married woman or an old married man. But anyway, I won't get into that. But I miss Korea just because like the rules for relationships and engagement are just so set in stone. But other places, I guess it's kind of very, it's not very set in stone. There's like so many different, I guess, ways that you can kind of go about it. But whatever. And people, they want to stay young. They want to stay young for like a really long time. I was really surprised, guys, when I was looking through like some of my moments and stuff like on my Chinese social media, and there's some people that I met, and then their picture, their profile picture would be like this like really young person, and I'm like, who is that? They're like, that's me, and I'm like, that doesn't look like you. They're like, yeah, it's me from like 15 years ago, and I'm like, why would you set your profile picture to 15 years ago or even 10 years ago? Like 5 years ago, I think is probably the limit because you basically, as an adult, you look the same. But 10, 15 years ago, that's like a different person. But whatever, it is what it is. I'm really very notoriously bad at keeping in touch with people for like a long time. I actually started to do that lately. With some of the people that I used to know when I was back in mainland China. So, but the thing is that everybody gets busy, so everybody has their own things and their own priorities and all the stuff that they have to do. And I mean, I'm like that too. I have like some stuff that I need to do, but I think it's always useful to just kind of make time. I've been just watching like just lots of different things about how time just passes. You have something that you want to do or like somebody that you want to talk to. And it's like, you gotta go do that work and you gotta go sign that paper and go to that place. But like, you really just want to just sit down and just look at this person and be like, wow, you know what? You've changed a lot, or I've changed a lot. Our relationships changed a lot. A lot of things these days with relationships is kind of just throwaway. You feel like if this person doesn't work out for me, then I'll just throw them away and I'll just find somebody else. I remember a long time ago, I used to have this ex-girlfriend. This is a while ago, but and I used to like to write like letters to her and stuff. So she would accept the letters and be like, oh, that feels good and whatever. And just one day she says, I want you to write it again. I say, why? Because she's like, I feel like you didn't really put enough effort into it, and I didn't feel any passion, right? And at that point, I was like, you know what? This is too much work for me. So I decided to just say forget it. She says, are you sure? I said, yeah. And in some ways, I kind of regret that decision because I think she was good for me at the time. But in some ways, I don't regret that decision. There's actually 2 times where I broke up with somebody and then I actually saw them again by accident because we were just like hanging out at the same party. We used to have like these parties where like the majority of like I guess clientele was like Asians. I used to do like party promotion and stuff, so I'd like be there and I'd be like, oh hi, and it was like super awkward. I'm like, who are you here with? And like I almost didn't even like want to ask, and I didn't really want to care like who are you with. So like, why does it matter, right? But I guess sometimes you just have like these relationships, and they're just there. I mean, I think the only time that I ever had to just say I to get over somebody that it really took me a long time was like my first ex-girlfriend. I never actually told this story to a lot of people, but for like 3 days I couldn't eat or sleep. The only thing that I could eat was like bubble tea. And you know, it's true about what they say. The first cut is the deepest. That it's like the first time that you break up with somebody, it's like your whole life is over, because you keep thinking that this person is the one person that you're going to be with for like a long time, and it turns out that they don't want to be with you anymore, and it's very upsetting. It's like you almost feel like, well, I'm not enough. As a man, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not enough for this woman or another woman or whatever it is, or what I did wasn't good enough. How can I make it better? How can I get this person back? And you know, going back now and myself in 2026, and then going and looking and talking to myself back then, I'd probably be like, hey, you know what? Like, forget it. It's not even like worth it. And you know, it's weird that 20 years ago, which makes me sound like it's a huge fossil. Is for me, it feels like it's like not that long. It's like a drop in the bucket. And for somebody who's like older, maybe if they're like a senior citizen or something, it's like it's nothing. But you know, for somebody who's just online right now, Gen Z people, it's like an eternity. But you know, I hope that any you know, dates and girlfriends that I've had, I hope they're doing well. I don't, you know, because I'm doing well. I'm doing my own things, having my own good time over in Taiwan, and I know everybody knows that. Taiwan's it's a big place, but it's not a big place. It's big enough that you can kind of do your own thing and be whatever, but it's you know, like my American friend came to visit here, and I looked at Google Map and it said he's like 2 hours away, and it was already like 9:30 at night or something. It was going to take forever to go over to there. I'm probably going to have to sleep there at night. So I don't know exactly what the more of the story is and where this is going, but I started off, and just to like we're having a coffee, we're like, you know, talking one-on-one about our stuff, the things that are going on in our lives. You know, I literally have like hundreds of like contacts, and some of them I don't even talk to anymore. Some of them, they don't speak English really well. Some of them I have disagreements with. Some of them don't even live in Taiwan. They live like somewhere else. And you know, we have like kind of these short snippet conversations like, hey, how are you doing about this and whatever. You know, I wish that I have like more in-depth conversations with some of the same people that I know, but you know, we're all busy kind of doing our own things. And I even caught myself yesterday saying these are the only people that I care about in my life, and you know, whoever it is. But you have to know what your priorities are. I used to know this crazy dude, and the one piece of advice that stuck with me that he said was, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. Don't go this way and that way and all these other things. It's like you have like 10 things that you're doing, and then you're doing nothing. You want to be like 5 different things, and you're doing nothing, right? People, they want something that's really simple. They want to have like your name and then your job title under your business card. That's really simple for them. At the same time, you don't necessarily have to limit yourself, and you don't have to explain yourself to other people. You look at guys like Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, but he was also an inventor. You look at guys like you know, Thomas Edison. He didn't want to like fit into a box. This guy quit school when he was 12 years old, started working on the railroads, and went to school at home. So, you know, you don't have to listen to my advice, guys. You don't have to listen to anybody's advice about anything on the internet. But what you got to do is you got to find like what is your goal? What is your true north? What is the thing that you really want? And write it down, and you know, tell yourself every day so you move towards that. See you guys later. Bye.